Ancient China has a lot of rich history as it's one of the few civilizations that had overcome multiple centuries of change. So let's look into it. Hi, my name is Jessa and please join me as we look together at top 10 disturbing historical events from ancient China you never knew. Number 10. Xia, Shang, and Zhou Dynasty. The Xia dynasty is considered the first Chinese dynasty, followed by the Shang and Zhou dynasty. These early dynasties laid the foundations of Chinese civilization, introducing the concepts of governance, social structures, and written language. The Xia dynasty is traditionally regarded as the first dynasty in Chinese history, although its existence is more legendary than historically confirmed. It is said to have been founded by Yu the Great, who is credited with controlling floods and establishing effective irrigation systems. According to the traditional Chinese history, the Xia dynasty faced challenges and eventually collapsed due to a tyrannical rule of its last ruler Jie, which incomes to the Shang dynasty. The Shang dynasty is the first of the Chinese dynasty, which there are solid archaeological evidence, as the discovery of the ancient city of Yin, which is the modern-day Anyang, and the oracle bones of the inscriptions have provided valuable insight into the Shang dynasty. The Zhou dynasty is divided into the Western Zhou and the Eastern Zhou periods, during which the Western and the rulers of the Western maintained control, but the early Eastern Zhou's political decentralization had the rise of the regional states as it characterized that area. Number 9. The Spring and Autumn period, and the Warring States period in between, were impactful moments in Chinese history. These periods were characterized by political fragmentations and the warfare among various states. Philosophical ideas such as Confucianism, Taoism, and legalism emerged during this time. The authority of the Zhou kings were weakened, as it was leading to the disintegration of central control. The local rulers of the aristocratic families gained interest and increase of autonomy and established their own territories, often engaging in power struggles. The Spring and Autumn period saw the rise and falls of the various political and philosophical schools, each offering ideas of governance, ethics, and social order. The advances of the metallurgy and technology, including the production of iron tools and weapons, contributed to the development of state military capabilities. The Spring and Autumn period witnesses the decentralization of political power, with the local lords and the aristocrats assuming greater authority over their territories. The events and developments of the Spring and Autumn periods set the stages of the subsequent Warring State period, during which the larger states emerged and engaged in a more intense conflict. The Spring and Autumn period formally came to an end when the state of the Jin split into 3 major entities, making the transition to the Warring States period. Number 8. Confucius. Confucius is a philosopher and a teacher, developed a system of moral and ethical principles that became the foundation of Confucianism. His teachings emphasizes social harmony, filial piety, and ethical conduct. Confucius focused on the ethical and moral principles, emphasizing the cultivations of virtues and proper conduct in personal and social life. His teachings aimed at the promoting of social harmony, ethical governance, and the development of a morally upright society. The key concepts of the teachings include Ren, Li, and Xiao. Ren is about benevolence and humanness, and Ren is considered a central virtue in Confucianism as it involves kindness, compassion, and a sense of humanity, as Confucius believed that the cultivating Ren was essential for harmonious social relationships. As Li is referred to ritual and propriety, Li refers to proper conduct and rituals in various social contexts. Confucius emphasizes the importance of observing rituals to maintain social order and respect for tradition. And Xiao is about piety, as a virtue of respecting and honoring one's parents and ancestors. Confucius regarded filial piety as a fundamental moral obligation, as he believed in the transformative power of education. He emphasizes the importance of moral and education in shaping individuals and by extension society. Confucius advocated for ethical governance based on the principles of benevolence, righteousness, and integrity. He believed that the virtuous leaders should set an example for the people, promoting social harmony and stability. Number 7. During the Qin dynasty, the first emperor Qin Shi Huang ordered the burning of books and the burial of scholars in an attempt to suppress intellectual and political oppression and opposition. This became the burning of the books and burying of the scholars in 213 BCE. The Qin dynasty was characterized as its adherence to legalism and as social and political and philosophical systems that advocated for strong centralized rule, strict laws, and the subordination of intellectual and moral concerns to the need of the state. Qin Shi Huang was very wary of scholars and intellects who could potentially criticize or oppose his regime, as he believed that diverse intellectual ideas could lead to dissent and unrest. The campaign targeted not only philosophical and political writings but also historical records and texts. Qin officials systematically collected and destroyed numerous books, scrolls, and documents. Scholars and intellectuals who were deemed to pose a threat to the regime were often subjugated to punishment, including execution, and the burial of the scholars involved a killing of many educated individuals, as in this notion, education equals to liberation. And it's good to note that when it comes to higher power positions, their first target isn't necessarily the enemy with the sword, but the enemy with the pen who will document their mistakes and their choices. Despite the brutal measures that was taken by Qin Shi Huang, his dynasty faced internal discontent and rebellion. The Qin dynasty then came to an end in 206 BCE, and the subsequent Han dynasty embraced a moderate approach to governance, promoting Confucianism as a state ideology. Number 6, continuing with the Qin dynasty. Under Qin Shi Huang unified China and standardized various aspects of Chinese society. Like the famous Terracotta Army, the Terracotta Army was created in accompanying Qin Shi Huang in the afterlife. It was part of a massive burial complex intended to replicate the army and the imperial court and military force, and the statues were believed to have served and protect the emperor in the afterlife, reflecting the Chinese belief in an afterlife that mirroring the living world. The Terracotta Army is part of a larger necropolis that includes 3 pits, including containing the statues of Pit 1, which is the largest, containing the main army. Pit 2 and 3 contained additional figures and chariots. The entire burial complex is located in the mausoleum of the Qin Shi Huang, which actually still is unexcavated, as Qin Shi Huang also implemented a policy of standardization, including the standardization of weights, measures, currency, and writing systems. This helped create a more centralized and efficient administration, while sections of the Great Wall existed before the Qin dynasty. Qin Shi Huang is often credited with ordering the connections of various existing walls to form a more cohesive defense against invasions from the north. The Qin dynasty's legalistic and authoritative approach laid the groundwork for the subsequent imperial era in China. However, its legacy was mixed with both positive and contributions to centralized governance and negative aspects associated with the oppression of the population. Number 5, with the fall of the Qin dynasty, out came the Han dynasty, as it's considered a golden age of Chinese history. It saw advancements in agriculture, technology, and governance, including the establishment of the civil service system. Confucianism, which became the more dominant ideology during the Han dynasty, Emperor Wu implemented Confucianism principles in governance and established a civil service examination system to recruit officials based on merit rather than hereditary status, as they should. The Han dynasty played a crucial role in opening and developing the Silk Road, which actually opened to a lot of trade routes throughout the entire of South and East Asia. Facilitating cultural and economic exchanges between China and the West, trade along the Silk Roads contributed to the economic prosperity of the Han dynasty. And the Han dynasty witnessed significant technological advancements, including invention of paper, improvements of iron casting, and the use of water-powered mills. Han art and culture flourished during this period, and the production of jade and ceramic artifacts, including the famous Han pottery figurines, amplifies the artistic achievements of this era. The later years of the Han dynasty experienced internal strife, though, corruption, and the weakening of the central authority. As of 220 CE, the Han dynasty officially ended when the warlords Xiao Xiao's son, Xiao Pi, forced the Emperor Shi Yan to abdicate, leading to the establishment of the Three Kingdoms period. Number 4, this era was characterized by the division of China into 3 competing states: Wei, Shu, and Wu. It is a popular period in Chinese literature, especially with the historical novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms. As it was known as the Three Kingdoms, periods laid the foundations of subsequent dynasties and played a crucial role into shaping the cultural and historical narrative of China. The intricate relationship and power struggles among the states continue to captivate the imagination of people through literature, theater, and other forms of artistic expression. Xiao Wei, founded by Xiao Xiao, was later ruled by his descendants, also known as the Wei. Shu Han founded the Lue Bei and governed his successors, including Shuang Liang, also known as Shu, and Eastern Wu, founded by Sun Quan, founded Wu. One of the most famous battles of the Three Kingdom periods was the Battle of the Red Cliffs, fought on the Yangtze River. Forces allied with Shu Han and Western Wu successfully repelled a larger Xiao Wei fleet as the Three Kingdoms periods came to an end when the state of Jin emerged victorious and unified China in 280 CE under the leadership of Sima Yan, who established the Western Jin dynasty. Number 3, the Shu dynasty and the Tang dynasty. These 2 successive Chinese dynasties that played a significant role into shaping the course of Chinese history. These periods are known for achievements of governments, culture, economy, and international relations. The Tang dynasty in particular is often regarded as a high point in Chinese civilization. One of the most notable achievements of the Shu dynasty was the construction of the Grand Canal, a massive artificial waterway that connected the Yellow River and the Yangtze River. It facilitated transportation and trade, as Emperor Wen also instituted various reforms, including land redistribution and the establishment of a more efficient and centralized bureaucracy. His successor, Emperor Yang, continued many of these policies but faced opposition due to the high tax burden and forced labor on large-scale projects. The Shu dynasty faced internal rebellion and external threats, and the construction of monumental projects such as the Great Wall and the Great Canal led to a strain on resources. The Tang dynasty is often considered another golden age of Chinese culture, marked by achievements in literature, art, and philosophy. It was also around the time Empress Wu Zetian was the only empress who reigned Chinese history, with her desire to rule with multiple chaotic methods. The dynasty officially came to an end in 907 when the last Tang emperor abdicated, leading to a period of fragmentation known as the the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms. Number 2, the Song dynasty, as it was the Chinese dynasty that lasted from 260 to 1279 CE. It is divided into 2 main periods, the Northern and the Southern Song. The Song dynasty is also known for its economic prosperity, cultural achievements, and technological advancements and political reforms. However, it faced challenges with external invasions and eventually succumbed to the Mongol conquests. The Northern Song dynasty was actually a time of cultural flourishing with significant developments in poetry, painting, and calligraphy and ceramics, as well as the Northern Song era witnessed technological innovations including the invention of movable printing, gunpowder, and the magnetic compass. But of course, the Northern Song dynasty faced external threats from nomadic peoples, particularly the Khitan Liao dynasty in the north. After the fall of the Northern Song capital, the Southern Song dynasty was established. Despite territorial losses and military challenges, the Southern Song period continued to experience cultural and economic prosperity as the Southern Song dynasty faced increasing pressures from the Mongol Empire, led by Kublai Khan, who was also the grandson of Genghis Khan. The Song dynasty is often characterized as a period of innovation, cultural richness, and its legacy continued to influence subsequent dynasties in China. And number 1, finally, Mongol rule. Despite the known written adversaries of the Mongols, it has been noted that the Mongols were actually really accepting of other religions and most people than most civilizations of the time. Kublai Khan, which is the grandson of Genghis Khan, as we know, established a Yuan dynasty after successfully conquering the Southern Song dynasty in 1279, and finally unifying China. The Yuan dynasty implemented administration reforms that blended Mongol and Chinese administrative practices, as the government was organized along traditional Chinese lines, but Mongol elites had held top positions. The Yuan dynasty witnessed a blending of Mongol, Chinese, Persian, and Central Asian cultures. The court was cosmopolitan with influences from various regions of the Mongol Empire, and the Yuan dynasty maintained diplomatic ties with other parts of the Mongol Empire, the Middle East, and Europe. Marco Polo, the Venetian explorer, visited China during this period, and Kublai Khan implemented policies to boost the economy, including the promotion of trade and agriculture. Sounds like a great time. The establishment of relay stations and the use of paper money facilitated trade and communication, and the later years of the Yuan dynasty saw internal strife, financial difficulties, and growing discontent among the Chinese population. As of course, there was numerous uprisings, including the Red Turban Rebellion, led by the Ming dynasty founder Zhu Yongxiang, contributed to the collapse of the Yuan dynasty, and in 1368, the Ming dynasty forces overthrew the Yuan dynasty, and Zhu Yongxiang declared himself the Hongwu emperor, founding the Ming dynasty. While the Yuan dynasty is often criticized for its foreign rule and challenges facing during its later years, it left a significant impact on Chinese history and culture, as the era contributed to the interconnectedness of different regions within the vast Mongol Empire. Well, that's the end of this segment, and I hope you learned a lot of cool things. My name is Jessa. Be sure to like and subscribe, take a 20-45 minute nap, and you deserve it. Good night. I mean, goodbye.